Perfectionism is one of those things that some of us identify with a little bit more than others. You might call yourself a perfectionist, or you might think you're not perfectionist at all. But I think we all have that tendency in certain areas of life. Like it might not be in your work, but it might be in the way you parent, or the way you show up for your friends, or the way you dress or look. I think all of us in some areas of life, the ones that matter most to us, we tend to have a little bit of perfectionist tendencies. And that can be considered a positive thing in our society. It can seem like, okay, we're really striving to be better, to constantly improve. And while that is true, perfectionism often comes from a place of fear rather than a place of self-love. And usually that fear is like that we're not worthy or not good enough unless we fulfill whatever we think is perfect. And that can actually lead to us self-sabotaging ourselves. Because if we feel like we need to live up to some level of perfect, we might never get there. We might never get to the point of perfect. And that means we might never put a work out there. It might mean we never show up for that new group or try that new hobby. Because anything new that we do really requires us to try and fail and experiment and get back up and get feedback. And once we feel protective and perfectionist about something, we're not really open to that anymore. We feel like we have to be somewhere where we're not yet. And that might stop us from doing it altogether, which is such a shame, especially if it matters to us. So I think awareness is a really great first step. Like if you notice in certain areas of your life that you feel quite perfectionist or you put really high standards on yourself, really seeing it for what it is can be a really great first step. And then seeing what's behind it, like what is your fear in that area? What does it say about you when you don't show up in the way you want to show up? What does that say about your personality, about who you are as a person? And explore that a little bit more and see if that's actually true or what that's based on or where that really comes from. That can be a great first step to recognizing perfectionism and to eventually, hopefully, let go of it. Because really, being human, putting ourselves out there, trying new things, really requires us to show up as flawed as we are and still just do it anyway. Because that's the only way how we can get better, how we can find new opportunities or do new cool things. So if you want to take the first step into this process, look at the areas you feel most precious about, the ones that matter most to you, and see what your beliefs about yourself are about that specific area.